Hello everybody, welcome back to House Gnome Gaming. We are continuing on with episode 2 of Frostpunk, A New Home on normal mode. We are starting day 3. So let's get loaded up. One of the things that you're going to want to watch while you're playing this game is when the citizens of your town talk to you, because they have a lot of opinions, and it'll appear right down here above your discontent and hope bar. It'll pop up a little portrait with the things that they're telling you about how you're running things, and they can get quite salty with their opinions, so make sure you read those because they're pretty funny. So I like to keep mine on very fast game speed for the most part, simply because it can take forever to run through things. Alright, so our next law that we're going to pass, we're going to go over here and we're going to go ahead and pass corpse disposal, because they really hate this one. I mean, you're throwing dead bodies in a pile and basically letting them stay there in a corner, so of course I don't really like that too much, but I don't like giving them the time to go to funerals, because if you have a lot of deaths, they will constantly go to funerals, and I just find that really obnoxious. So I'm going to assign that one. And then we have to build the snow pit, and you don't want to build your snow pit anywhere near where you're going to have heat, because if you have heat, then just like in real life, the corpses will start to melt and it'll spread disease. So you don't want to do that because they don't like that, and yeah, you don't like that either. So I like to place mine around the edges somewhere, but I tend to do it somewhere that is fairly close to where I'm already building a road, because like everything else, it has to be attached to a street before it will be considered active. So this is these little shaded areas here are where you can put buildings later. The buildings can only go in these locations, and the icon in the middle tells you what it is. Like this tree tells you that it is a it's for your building that will drill into these frozen trees back here and get you a wood source. So we're going to go ahead and put it right over here, which is beside a building that we will put in later, but it's not a building that I am going to hook a heat source up to, so it doesn't matter if it's there or not. Alright, so we have unlocked the second level of the drawing board on your technology tree, which allows us to unlock other technologies that we're going to need. For instance, this wall drill, which goes in the spot that I just showed you. But for right now, there's a few things that we need to consider. As if you remember yesterday, the woman was asking for the beacon. That's actually one of our goals down here, is to secure food, a cookhouse, place for the dead is our current thing, but our big one is to get our beacon, because right now we are stuck with the 80 people that we have. We need to get a beacon so that we can find other people and start finding resources. The other thing we need to worry about is our heat, because as we can see tomorrow morning, we're going to get a 20-degree drop, which means our housing is going to drop 20 degrees, which will take us down 2 points of livability. So right now they are just barely livable without the generator on. With 20 points, they're going to go down from livable to chilly to cold. And when they're cold, people get sick. The same thing is going to happen in our workstations. They're going to drop 2 points as well. So gathering points will go down to cold from livable, and workshops will go from comfortable to chilly. So what we want to work on right now is our heat, because we know for a fact that we're going to have 2 days of cold temperatures. So the first thing that we'll do is we will work on the heaters. What that'll do is all of our work buildings will be able to turn heaters on when there are people inside it, so that they can stay warm while they're working. We're going to research that one first, because the temperature is going to drop while everybody is at work, and then we can work on the overnight temperatures while they're working during the day. I'm going to fast forward again, turn the heat on. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and build our sawmill. So the technology that we did yesterday was a sawmill. We want to go ahead and get that built and ready to go, because we are going to quickly run out of, if you take a look in our gathering posts, this one's about done. It's got 1 steel left, so they'll be done with that tomorrow morning. And this one has 19 steel and 148 trees. After that, we're going to be out of steel and trees because all these are just coal. So let's go ahead and get our sawmill built overnight. And you can, this sawmill does not do these trees back here like this particular sawmill will later. This one is a lower level sawmill, it's a lower tier, so you're going to want to get these trees that are kind of stuck up out of the ground, and it will only do the ones that are colored green. So we're going to put this one right here, and we're going to connect over the road. This is just temporary, eventually we'll take this down. We're going to go ahead and get that built, because when these people are done, we want them in that sawmill. Alright, and as you can see, we got a pop-up here that our steel wreckage depleted and our gathering sources depleted. If you click on it, it'll take you to where they're talking. So we're going to tear that gathering post down. We don't need it anymore. We're going to leave the heat on today to keep the buildings around our heat source a little bit warmer. But because we haven't researched the heater fully yet, they're just going to have to suffer with some cold work buildings. And there it is. The heaters are researched. So now we're going to update the generator power. And what that'll allow us to do is raise the steam level by 1 degree as necessary, or 1 level as necessary, which will raise by 1 level the heat around it. Okay? It currently will only do 1 ring. You have to update the range settings in order to get more rings, but we're not going to do that because we are going to do steam hubs right here, which will allow us to put a little hub out here, and it will create its own little mini ring of heat, and we can put several of those. And I find that more efficient than the rings, plus you can locate them wherever you want, put them by buildings, so it's got a much further reach. But now we have our heat. So if we click on our temperature overlay, you can see suddenly we have all these little thermometers. If we click on the thermometers, they will heat the buildings that the thermometer is attached to while people are inside the building. And they will cut off at night when nobody's there to help save coal. We also got the opportunity for a new law. Now we're going to do radical treatment, which will allow the gravely ill to be treated in medical posts. After that, there's only one more law that we'll do that they're just going to absolutely hate, and that will allow us to get all those laws out of the way while our discontent and hope are still okay. And you can see right here, they're starting to complain. Even with all our advances in medicine, this is what we resort to. It may make sense, but that doesn't make it any less cruel. Overall, those are actually pretty mild. Alright, so we're going to start the sawmill up, we're going to turn the heat on, and we're going to extend the shift. Okay, we're also going to be in need of food pretty soon. So we're going to build a hunter's hut. We're going to build that right over here because we're not going to heat this up either. And we got a little while on both of those gathering posts before they run out of things. And we did not put anybody on the dreaded emergency shift, as we promised. Okay, so now we've got the generator power research upgrade done. That allows us to do steam level 2, but we don't want to do steam level 2 right now because it's going to suck our coal down. We want to keep it on steam level 1 and then only utilize steam level 2 as needed. But right now, we've got everybody to chilly. We could turn it to 2 and put them up to livable, but we're not going to do that right now because we're trying to conserve our coal. So the next thing we want to research now is we're finally going to research our beacon so that we can get a group out and exploring. We've got our hunter's hut done, so we're going to put some people in the hunter's hut. Now you can see right here you can only assign workers to a hunter's hut. You can only assign engineers to a workshop. You can only assign engineers to a medical post. But you can assign anybody who is available to work, including children if you take the child work law, to the gathering post. So you got to be judicious with where you're putting your workers to make sure that you have workers where you need them. So you don't want to put engineers in a gathering post if you really need them working on your research. Alright, so it's nighttime. Our hunters are going to head out and start getting us some raw food that we can turn into rations. People are starting to get hungry. They should start eating the rations that we have up here though, but they'll only do it when they get really, really hungry. You can see through the overlay that everybody is chilly at home. We don't want them all getting sick, so we're going to turn on the generator overdrive, which will raise the heat level around it by 1. But it starts to fill this little bar up, and if you fill the bar completely up, your generator will melt down, so you have to keep an eye on that. Alright, last law we're going to take that they're going to hate is overcrowding. We can either do extra rations for the ill, which will start depleting our food source, or overcrowding. And what this does is double the capacity of our medical posts, but we are going to take a little hit to our discontent for that. But that's okay, we're willing to do that.
A new law has passed.
Our sick will be crammed like in a poorhouse. If the ill have somewhere to lie, they have a chance to recover. So you can see there's 2 separate trains of thought going on there with your villagers or your residents, whatever you want to call them. So, like I said, just keep an eye on what they're saying because it gets pretty funny. Okay. So we have our generator power upgrade. So we've got heat. We've got independent heaters in our buildings. We can build the beacon now to send a team out to hunt or to explore. We've got hunters getting us food. We've got a sawmill getting us in some wood, but now we are going to start running out of steel. So the next thing we'll do is our steel works so we can get some steel production going on, because steel, wood, and coal are all very important. We're going to build our beacon. And our beacon, once it's built, we're not going to do anything except assign people to it. And it doesn't need heat to run or anything, so we're just going to stick it over here out of the way near the pit of death. And we've got 5 unemployed people. We're going to go ahead and take two out of our gathering post over here. And we're going to have them making a little food. So now we have a food source because we have a hunter's hut for gathering and we have people cooking.
Move. Time to get to work.
We're going to turn off our overdrive so that we don't blow up our generator. Everybody's going to build. Now we have a steelworks, and we'll go ahead and increase the amount of gear for our hunters so they're bringing a little more raw food in. Alright, beacon built. We are no longer lost and blind. From now on, our people will be able to survey the icy barrens that surround us, Frostland. I love the art in this. Here it goes. Okay, and now we have the ability to explore. It's got a little orange or yellow dot right here. That is where the quest wants to take you, but you don't have to go there. You've got Lost Expedition, numerous tents. We can see people moving about. They must be the members of our Lost Expedition, so that's who that woman wanted us to go look for. Or the crash site. Several wrecked vehicles, no signs of life. They are probably our machines. Let's hope so. We had to leave a number of supplies in them after the crash. Alright, in order to explore that, you're going to have to take 5 healthy workers and 40 wood to create a scout team. And it looks like right now I've got 5 sick workers. 2 there. Alright, so now you can see we've got a scout team and they are waiting for orders, and we're not going to follow the story. We're going to go over here to the crash site first. And it looks like we're about to start maxing out our coal, which is great because we're going to start running through it. And the next thing we're going to do is preemptively build a steelworks. I don't know if you can hear that. It is storming here. Alright. Speed up time. People from our convoy ready to search. People cheer as the giant observation balloon soars above the city. This is a real feat. Everyone feels proud of the work they've done to make it happen. Volunteers have lined up, eager to go looking for our lost people in Frostland. The woman who came forward earlier is among them. We needed a win. We did. Everybody's pretty full of discontent and our hopes pretty low. Alright, we have a gathering post that is now out of items to gather. So we will build another gathering post. Because we want to clear these little piles of things out. Alright, let's see. So we've got 4 sick people and 1 being treated. So we could upgrade our medical post to heal people a little faster. But I think at the moment we're going to do the steam hubs because we're going to start getting people arriving. And we're not going to be able to put them anyplace warm because all of our room, with the exception of space for 1 house, is taken up already around our heat source. And our other gathering post is now done. Alright, well, I'm going to wrap this up for the day and go ahead and call it because there is a huge storm outside and I'm going to have to shut my computer down. So we'll save it here and call it a day. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time at House Gnome Gaming. Bye.